Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. I've enjoyed using Anchor. It is easy to maneuver. The followers have told me that it's easy to download and easy to follow. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast, make money doing it. Go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Healing Poetic Podcast. I am your host, Keya McClain, and thank you for joining me yet again. Thank you if this is your first time. Be sure to leave feedback. You can leave me a voice message, or you can leave me a message, or feel free to shoot a message to me via email at Keya's Coaching, KEYASKOACHING @gmail.com, and I'll look forward to hearing from you. Today's episode, I am going to be talking about stopping. How to stop stopping. So, how many times have you stopped at a red light and the car in front of you stays there after the light turns green? Well, typically, what we do is we blow our horn to encourage them to move. And those of us who don't blow our horn are in our car saying, go. Basically, beep, beep, move it, buddy. If you are an encourager, a motivator, or inspirer, as I am, let me share the analogy I've not just done so well. Some of us get to a red light and we stop and stay there. Stop. I have financial issues, so I'm going to stay in this position. Stop. I don't get the job I want, so I quit and give up. Stop. I don't want a relationship anymore. My previous relationships didn't work. I don't want to date. Stop. I made a mistake in parenting or decision making or any other life-altering decision. Stop. 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 We stop talking, stop visiting, stop working. We just get caught up in the stop. We get caught up in the stop, and it's not healthy. It's not healthy because obstacles, adversity, trouble comes in life. It is guaranteed to come in life. And one of the things that I have learned through my life cycle is that I need to embrace the challenges and the adversities as much as I embrace the good, the wins, and the achievements. Well, why is that important? Because that helps me to maintain an optimistic attitude. Look, I'm not saying that I don't get troubled and I don't have stress or anxiety at moments where an obstacle arises. Stress and anxiety come sometimes, even a little depression, because if you've listened to me long, I've shared I can get intermittent depression. And what therapy helped me do was it helped me to understand my triggers, and I learned coping skills so that I don't go deeply into my depression. It may get the opportunity to show its ugly head sometimes, but it doesn't get a chance to take residence. It doesn't get an opportunity to reside in my spirit for too long, because I'm totally aware of those triggers. So, I'll give you a prime example. There's been a lot of moments during the course of the work that I do that I've said, I'm quitting. I just want to stop. Notice what I said. I use that stop word because this is what we do. We can't handle trouble. We can't handle adversity. And if we can't handle a little trouble and a little adversity, well, we're going to be constantly stopping. We're going to be constantly giving up. And is that beneficial? Absolutely not. It's not beneficial at all. And so we must persist. Stopping for me is settling the opportunities presented. First of all, settling. Who's going to settle? Not me. You shouldn't be settling. Opportunities that get presented, well, I want to go beyond those opportunities that are presented. I want to go out and seek opportunities. I want to go out here and knock on doors. I want to go out here and make presentations. I want to make my presence known. I don't want to settle for anything, because when you settle, you stop. When you settle, you give up. When you settle, you agree that I'm not valued any higher than I am today. And that is cheating yourself. That is not being fair to yourself. That is not being fair to the Creator who created you with all of your gifts and your talents and your imagination and creativity and greatness. It's unfair. It's unfair to the people who should know you, be connected to you, hear your voice, see you, be in your presence, learn from you, gain insight from you. So if you are in a stop moment right now, I encourage you to go. Get up, get out, and get it. No one's going to do it for you. I've been doing the work that I've been doing for some years now. When I started doing this, I noticed that I started with a group of people, and some of those people stopped, but some of those people kept going. They were persistent. They were committed, even through challenges, even through obstacles. And I don't know every obstacle and challenge that everyone faced, just as they don't know every obstacle and challenge I faced. But what I can tell you is we have one thing in common. All of us from different parts of the world, people that I met when I attended Lisa Nichols conferences. These are people that I follow on social media. Some have become friends that I stay connected to. But let me tell you something. There is a very prevalent thing between all of us. And these similarities are just this. This is the prevalent similarity that we all share. We don't stop. We don't settle on the opportunities presented. We go out and we get it. even when it's hard, even when there's rejection, even when the door is closed, even when it doesn't work out the way we want it to work out. We don't stop. We don't give up. We don't say, I can't do it anymore. Well, I say it sometimes, but I clearly keep going. And that's what you have to do. The mind, the brain is so powerful. And just as we can think negatively, just as we can harbor up negative feelings and emotions, we can harbor up positive thinking. We can see ourselves in a place a year from now positively. I'm not going to choose to keep going back in my past and picking up negativity and taking it with me. That is not a choice that I'm going to make, because believe it or not, people, we are making a choice. And some of us are making choices that help us grow and shift. And some of us are making choices that make us shrink, feel low, depressed, which causes us to compare. It causes us to have these emotions that are negative about other people that we don't know. We don't know anything about them. But the emotion that comes up because you see a person that's out here who is striving towards better, who may stop at the stop sign momentarily, but they keep going. See, the stop sign and the red light, neither are permanent. Let me repeat what I just said. The stop sign and the red light, neither are permanent. They are temporary. You know why you have to stop at a red light? And you know why you have to stop at a stop sign? Because it gives the opportunity for other people to go. It keeps organization of the traffic flow. There's not chaos, because you don't want chaos and people are out there driving. Well, you don't want chaos in your life. So every now and then you have to stop. What I really prefer to say is pause. You have to pause for a moment and then you hit play again. Pause for a moment and then you hit play again. So if I'm in the stop or pause season, you know what I'm doing? I'm reading, I'm researching, I'm attending conferences and workshops and connecting with other like-minded people. I'm meditating and praying and realigning myself in that stop, pause moment. And then I'm hitting play again and I'm moving forward. I don't go on reverse. I'm going forward. So if I'm going forward, whatever happened yesterday doesn't matter. What happened 5 minutes ago doesn't matter. We are here to grow and stretch ourselves. However, some of us have stopped and we've stayed there and we've allowed fear and complacency to keep us in the stop season. Stop is not a permanent season unless you make it a permanent season. You must shift from the stop season if you are in the stop season. You must shift from wanting to go into the stop season if you are thinking about that. I have had some difficult moments and times. I have had some challenging obstacles. And again, I've had moments where I said, I'm quitting. I'm stopping. But because I trained my mind for so long, my mind won't even allow me to stop. Because my body is already in movement. My body is used to moving. My mind is used to moving because I created habits. And these habits that I've created and formed have helped me during those really rough seasons and moments. I build up my endurance. It's no different from working out. Once you build up your endurance, it's there. It helps us. So the moments where I'm feeling tired and I can't do a lot, and I don't have a lot of energy, I go back to that source because I've built up such a mental endurance that stop isn't even in me. If you need encouragement, if you need to be inspired, continue to support this podcast. I started this podcast because I wrote 3 books full of poetic storytelling that talks about my path, that talks about my life. 85% of the book is personally about me. About 15% I've pulled from other lives or thoughts that I've had, or just a mixture of both. But let me tell you something. I'm talking about healing. I'm talking about shifting. I'm talking about aligning yourself. And if you can't commit to that, if you can't do that, if you can't train your brain, train your mind to be stronger, you have to have a strong mental tenacity. Have the tenacity to say, I can endure this, even though it's hard. And if it's too hard, get the therapy that you need. It's okay. Therapy saved my life. Therapy and writing saved my life. We are not intended to sit at the stop sign, because if everyone is sitting at the stop sign, it causes a backup. And if there's a backup, people tend to get frustrated. People tend to get angry. People tend to get vigilant. People tend to get where they are taking out their frustrations on the person in front of them and maybe the person behind them. The people that are situated close to them in the vehicle. Well, that's what's happening in life. We're taking it out on the people closest to us. So, as always, I'm going to share a piece with you from one of my books from the collective. And again, share this podcast, continue to support, provide your feedback. That helps me to know what type of content is valuable and helpful and what content is not. So I'm going to go ahead and share this piece. This piece is called Starting Over, and it's from my second book, The Depths of My Soul Healed Through Love and Empowerment. It's on page 97 if you have the book. I'm starting over, not repeating any chapters, not adding any lines to any previous pages, but I am checking to ensure no chapters are repeated. I've read and studied those previous chapters to ensure there are no do-overs, started a completely new slate, mindful of the way the previous story goes, careful not to visit that story anymore. I have realized the gift in learning lessons, acknowledging those who are truly blessings, understanding that my exit from the last chapter to my new book will cause some to do some second guessing, some doubters and even naysayers. But when you start over, you learn not to look back. You don't welcome those in that turned a chapter or a story into a nightmare. You also have to be fair, be honest, authentic, yet direct. When starting over, you say goodbye to those things that affect your smile. If it interrupts your peace and leaves you standing still, it may not be that bad after all. It is in that stillness and quiet chapter that you learn the complete lesson. Embrace the new and amazing chapter ahead for you. It's okay to start over. I chose to share the start over piece because sometimes that's what you have to do after you stop. After you stop, it is okay to keep going. It is okay to take a pause, but it's not okay to stay in a place of stagnation and complacency and stay at that stop sign or stay at that red light. You should be moving forward into your new season, into your new chapter of the book. This is not over. It is not the end. So, I implore you today to go out, start a new season, start a new chapter of your book. But stopping is just not an option. Ending is just not an option. You must persist. You must persist. You must be persistent. And you must be consistent. And watch things turn around. But you can't get comfortable at the stop sign. This was this week's podcast. I am your host, Keya McClain. Feel free to visit my website at www.keyascoaching.com, KEYAS Feel free to follow me on Instagram, Keya McClain, the poet, KEYAMCCLAIN, the poet. Feel free to follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel at Keya McClain, KEYA McClain. I look forward to connecting with you soon. Be well. Arrivederci.